Welcome to Valley Views. I'm Ken Redding, your host for this program. This program is the first of several that we hope to produce on a monthly basis, and our focus will be on newsmakers, events, and interesting topics affecting the lives of people in the Blackstone Valley, not just in Uxbridge. You're welcome and encouraged to tell us what you want covered. Shows will allow guests to express their views and will offer opposing views in other shows. The purpose is to inform Valley residents and make them aware of the rich and diverse heritage of our valley. Send your cards or letters expressing your new ideas to Ken Redding at Post Office Box 392 in Uxbridge 01569. Let us know how we're doing and give us your views for future shows. Our guest for this show is Ben Emerick and the Captain James Buxton Fife and Drum Corps. Ben and his corps are fixtures in the Blackstone Valley, and you've probably seen them performing in parades, ceremonies, and a host of other events. Welcome to the show, Ben.
Well, glad to be here. Thanks for inviting us.
It was our pleasure.
I'm sure everybody feels the same with you. Sure.
Why don't you introduce the members of the Fife and Drum Corps, Ben?
Okay, well, on my left is Richard Benoit, originally from North Uxbridge, but now lives in South Main Street. This is his wife, Mary. She is a Connecticut native, proud to say. And this is my grandson over here, Kevin Emerick. And on the far right is Paul Benoit, brother to Mr. Benoit on my left. Been around the Corps quite a while.
So how did we get to the Captain James Buxton Fife and Drum Corps? Who was Captain Buxton?
Well, that was my wife's great-grandfather, 7 times removed.
7 times removed.
7 times. He was captain in the 15th Massachusetts in the Revolution.
So he lived in the 17...
Well, he lived from approximately 1741, if I remember the dates, until 1817. So he lived quite old, to be quite old.
What did he do? Did he have many special...
Well, he was a farmer. He had a lot of land in South Uxbridge and the Rhode Island line, just over the line of what was then Smithfield. And he farmed, and he had a grist mill, and he worked on the Quaker Meeting House. His wife was a Southwick, and she was a Quaker, and he assisted in building the meeting house, although the captain himself was not a Quaker. But he was quite an extensive landholder in present South Uxbridge.
So, in researching your wife's ancestry, you decided that was a good name for the
well, it
Fife and
was
Drum Corps.
on account of his record, because he went in early in the war in 1775, and he stayed right through. And he was one of the last Continental Army officers to be discharged in 1783. Now that was quite a fabulous record.
It is.
At the time.
How long has your group been together?
Well, we started in May of 1962.
1962.
We've been going pretty much continuously ever since, ups and downs. But
now, what spurred you to get started? What was the driving force?
I don't know. I always liked Fife music. I'd heard it on the radio back in my youth when I was Kevin's age, and I kind of liked it. It had some kind of a stirring attraction for me. And when I had a chance to do something with it, found somebody that knew something about it, could teach me a little bit, I went at it.
That's great. You have 5 members here this evening. How many other members are there of the Corps?
Well, give or take, we got probably another 8 or 9, and always available. But we twist their arm and get them out for enough occasions, you know. Which is about what it amounts to.
How have you attracted members to the group?
Well, that's hard to say. You have to have some kind of an idea of this. It's really hard to say what attracts people to it. But it's a lifestyle. Once you get into it, it's really a lifestyle. And if you're not really committed, you won't hang around long. And we've gone through quite a number of people that way. But the people that you see here are definitely committed.
They're definitely committed.
Yes.
Do you need any musical training to get started in the group, or?
No, we just give them a book and hand them a fife and show them how to finger it and how to blow into it, and everything comes from there.
So if anybody that's watching this evening would like to be involved in the Fife and Drum Corps, who should they call?
Any one of us here, I'd be glad to help them. But anybody here would certainly work with them. We'd be only too happy to get another warm body. We're always looking for people.
I have to compliment you on your costumes. Where do they come from?
These are made locally. Virginia Scott on River Road. River Road. She had made this set of uniforms that we have here. She's very adept at it, and she understands what's needed, and she has a patent book that we gave her, and she works very well from that. The stuff is all cloth was made locally, and the only thing we purchased was the buttons.
Well, I compliment you on the originality, the
Yeah, it's an authentic uniform.
authentic detail. It's terrific. So where do you practice?
Well, we've been using the North Uxbridge Fire Station for a few years now. Bill Alvin Fire Chief, very courteous, let us use the place.
Yeah.
It's handy, it's comfortable, and we owe a lot to Bill and the fire department for us in this.
Do you have a regular schedule of practice sessions?
Usually Tuesday nights around 7. People drift in and drift out.
Sounds like a rather informal...
Well, it is, and that's the way it's fun. I think that's the only way. If it's too structured, it takes away the fun of it. As Mary told me one time, if it becomes a chore, it's not fun any longer. She didn't thank her for that quote and she's right. She's right. When it becomes a chore,
So where would you be apt to perform? What's the most called for event that...
Well, we go to the Deep River Muster every year, Connecticut. That's a big one. And the Westbrook, Connecticut Muster, that's also another very big one. And but some of the smaller ones are nice too. We try to go to some of the other musters, but Memorial Day, 4th of July, North Cumberland, Rhode Island, we've been playing there for, it must be 24 or 5 years. And we play in Chepachet, Rhode Island, every couple of years because the boys don't want to do 2 in a day, It's kind of a tough schedule, especially in the heat. And I should say the boys and girls.
Thank you.
I get a nudge on that one, We are integrated here, and everybody's treated the same.
How many female members do you have, Ben? Is Mary the...
Well, we have.
Does she carry the banner by
Mary's
herself?
I'd have to mention my wife. She's a booster, and she has a dress, and she shows up at events.
Yeah.
But she's not a performing, as I say, piper and drummer. And we have Margaret Fournier, who was in the color guard from Webster, and her prospective daughter-in-law, I believe it is. I don't know if they're married yet, but Laurie Hennequin, she's also from Webster.
So a fair amount of females.
Oh, yeah, oh, sure. We welcome. We're glad to get them, if they can play the fife.
No sexism in your group?
Nope, none whatever. None whatever.
Rich, how did you get involved with the drum corps?
Well, on that, I can thank my older brother, Paul, and actually I have two other older brothers that played with Benny for a long time. And when I was a little kid, I was able to kind of follow along and watch in awe, and I really liked it a lot. And what ended up happening was they ended up going into the Army, in the Fife and Drum Corps for the Army, and that was my in, because they left. I got to move right in, and I just continued.
Well, I can understand your interest, Rich, but how did you draw Mary into this? Coming from Connecticut?
That's a story unto itself.
You married her, that's how we do.
Yeah, that's one way to recruit. Actually, I'd been playing the fife for quite a few years in Connecticut. I was in 4 different fife and drum corps while I was living there. And when Richard and I started dating, and I moved into the area, I started playing with the corps on a regular basis.
Great. So I assume that you enjoy this.
Yeah.
I just like if I could break in. She's been a member of some championship outfits down there.
Really?
Some of the real top ones. And they've won the awards, and things like that.
Are you out? I mean, when weather permitting, are you out pretty much every weekend in the good weather, or?
Well, not if we can help it. we like to. Some of them like to go other things, I'd probably say we go a couple of times a month anyway.
A couple times a month. Throughout the entire area, then? There's no... what's the farthest place you've been to?
Mount Vernon?
Mount Vernon. We went to Mount Vernon.
That must have been a thrill.
Oh, it was, yeah. Last August 4th, I think it was. We went to Mount Vernon. Very nice.
It's terrific. Well, Paul, how did you get involved with the corps?
Oh boy, I was 11 years old, and I used to go to catechism at Good Shepherd Church in North Uxbridge in Linwood. And walking home from there, these guys used to practice at the Progressive Club. And coming around that long way to go with my friends, here in the Progressive Club, a little music there going on. And my cousin, myself, and a couple others jumped in, said, "What's this?" and joined the following week.
Great.
It was 1963.
Year after it was organized.
Right. Yep.
Well, Kevin, you're the youngest member of this group, at least here this evening. I don't know, do you have any younger than Kevin?
Well, Ben, my grandson, he's considered a member. He's breaking in. He's 40
breaking
years old. Yeah.
He gets to carry the drum every now and again, or beat the
Yeah,
drum?
he has a little drum that he bangs around with.
What do you think of all this, Kevin? Have you, do you get out to practice with the group pretty regular?
Every Saturday.
Every Saturday? You enjoy it? Terrific.
Yeah.
Well, we've been talking about Fife and Drum Corps music. How about if we could maybe twist your arm to give us a sample of maybe one or two of your tunes?
So, Road to Boston? Sure. All right. Ready? 1, 2, 3, play.
Hey, that was terrific. Very good.
Thank you. Thank you.
One more, and then we'll talk a little more about the Corps. Yankee Doodle. Sounds like a good one to me.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, play.
Hey, that was terrific. That was terrific. Well, Yankee Doodle I've heard before, but Road to Boston wasn't one that I heard until the Buxton Fife and Drum Corps made it popular.
No, never on the hit parade.
So where do you find your music?
Well, we get different sources. Some came out of the Library of Congress, some of it. And I say Massachusetts, there are a lot of Fife books published around here. This particular one here, which actually, it's called the Massachusetts Collection. A piece of music. Well, we play stuff goes back to the 100. Tuba Gallicalis and a few real, those are real oddball tunes, and they're not, you don't hear much of them in our circuit. We're probably the oddballs that play them. Chevy Chase is another very old English tune, which is seldom heard. You hear it here, but probably nowhere else in the country.
So do you have to plan all-day excursions at the library to find these, or can you just call
No,
ahead and ask
it's,
people to help you out?
Well, we've got some help. Sturbridge Village has been very helpful. Boston Public Library, we've got stuff there. Library of Congress, some of these fellows, I think Paul has been to the Library of Congress in particular. His brother, Tom, which is, he lives on the Cape now, yeah, he's not with us much now. He did a very lot of research at the Library of Congress. P.D. Eskovich, a cousin who was also with us, is really into it. He has done a lot of stuff.
You got a network of people out there kind of on the lookout for...
Always on the lookout for us, and of course we meet a lot of other real experts in this field, that help us out pretty well. They're real knowledgeable people.
How many Fife and Drum Corps are there locally or that you're apt to come in
Well, I
contact
don't know,
with?
I think, 4 or 5 in Mass,
At least.
probably,
I'd say probably a half dozen in Massachusetts.
yeah,
maybe.
probably must be 40 or 50 in Connecticut, and New Jersey has quite a few. New York, probably. There's another 30 or 40 at least, and they're scattered around. Detroit, Michigan is one. Tippecanoe, Indiana, for example. Maryland. Virginia has a couple. Disneyland has one. Florida, they have a fife and drum corps. And
So maybe that'll be your
what's
next
not
stop.
Minnesota,
Maybe that'll be your next stop, Ben, Disneyland.
well,
Let's go to Switzerland.
I don't know. That's kind of it's commercialized. It's okay. Some of the boys went there. We had a fellow, Danny Palmieri. Yeah, one of our boys went there, and he played with them.
Great.
For a couple of years, and he's still down there. But I don't know. Is he active with them? You fellas are.
Damn, no, he's,
Yeah, Danny was very good, excellent fifer. He was in the old guard along with Paul.
as a matter of fact, he was a drummer until he joined the Army.
Right. Yeah,
He learned a song to
jump ship.
audition for the Army, and played well enough at the time. Came in and learned to fife and became a damn good fifer, excuse my language.
Yeah, he's a very good fifer.
Well, we see the people with the uniforms on. Who makes it happen behind the scenes? Do you have a support staff, a group that
No,
hustles water to you and feeds you and sandwiches and that kind of thing?
The support staff is right at the end of your routes.
This is it, huh?
We're looking for any support staff that's out there.
Yeah.
So is that your plea to the audience tonight, is to, if you'd like to help out, give us a call?
We'll take
More than willing to have them.
Even if you can't play and you don't want to play, but you want to be involved in the schedule and the fife and drum events.
We're always ready to suck people in.
Do you ever enter any competitions, or is that not part of the routine?
Well, we used to quite a number of years ago, but that got to be quite a hassle because, you'd have your crew broke up. You'd have certain people going on individual fife contests. Somebody else would be on individual snare drum. Somebody else would be waiting to get on bass drum. And somebody else on majoring or, maneuvering. Then all of a sudden, after everybody was up almost to the front of the line ready to do their thing, everybody said, come on, let's go, we're on the stand. The whole corps is now on stand. And it got to be just such a hassle that I lost all interest in. After we won the state senior ancient championship in 1964, Mass State Senior Ancient, and that's it. We retired undefeated. We never went back to it again.
So you got a trophy, and that was...
Well, we got the trophy and we took it and ran, and that was just about it.
Well, you're on top. That makes sense to me.
We went most of the historical things. That's where that was our type of thing.
Terrific.
Nobody show-offs in our organization.
I happened to get one of your albums, and what got you involved in making the album? And that must have been... tell us a little bit about your record.
There's a lot of, as I say, if you look at the selections on there are a lot of, we call them oddball pieces that you probably won't hear anybody else play. And we just thought that some of them should be brought out, and which is why we did. They're not the usual drum corps repertoire that you hear.
Dusky Night, Sheet.
See, Dusky Night is a camp call and things like that. There was a certain camp duty. See, to explain that, the pipe and drum was really a system of communication. It was not entertainment. It was a communication system. And they have what they called a camp duty, which governed the soldier's life all day, from the time he got up in the morning until he went to bed at night. And they got him out on the alarm in the middle of the night, whatever. And so the pipe and drum really was a signaling device, and not entertainment. But they had to have different tunes for different things, and that's why they used different music. You look like roast beef of Old England is the dinner call, and peas upon a trencher is for breakfast, things like that. They're in there at various places.
No kidding. Do you have a favorite in here, Ben, or is
Oh, I kind of like Down in the Valley.
Down in the Valley?
Yeah, that's one I like. Of course, Road to Boston is the #1 favorite.
Yeah.
And Gary Owen is pretty much a favorite of mine, too. I kind of got onto that tune from seeing the movie of Custer. And that's why I kind of liked it.
Well, I tell you, it's quite a
I'm
thing.
talking here. We've got other people around. I'm hamming it up.
Let's see, is Mary, is your picture in here somewhere?
Yes, I'm right there.
Even Kevin's.
Even Kevin's here. There he is, right there. Well, that's terrific.
We've got another real old timer. I'd just like to mention him, John Powers. He's not with us tonight, but he's in there too. He's been in drum corps since 1935. And he's in that picture. His father had a corps in Millbury. I think he deserves a little plug if anyone does. He's been around a long time.
And he's still active in the Corps?
Well, not as much as he was, but he'll come out on occasion. He's approaching.
Terrific. Terrific.
He's getting along. We're all getting there as far as marching goes, you know.
Well, since you've been practicing since, actually been doing this since 1962, you must have had at least one memorable event in all those years.
I don't know.
Anything stick out in your mind as being the most favorite, the most...
One time the bus caught fire in New Haven and we had to pile everybody out.
I like the trip to Williamsburg, and we stayed next to the insane asylum.
Right. Yeah, we went to Williamsburg and we slept at an old, it was an insane asylum turned into a powerhouse. And we slept on some benches there. And there was a bunch of soot around. I remember that very well on the floor. That had to be one of the craziest trips. And that wasn't that the same one? Sure, that's the same one. We had the little fire in the bus going to New Haven, to Williamsburg, and we had to pile out. I think
So between the
91
fire on the
people.
bus and sleeping on the park benches...
Wiring, a little bit of wiring. It was a heater wire or something. We pulled that right out. We kept going. That didn't last very much.
That sounds very memorable to me, Ben.
Well, 2 o'clock in the morning in New Haven, it certainly is on I-91.
Have you ever had any real difficult times when you showed up at the wrong parade or...
Yeah, I think we went to a 4th of July parade in Concord, New Hampshire a week late. It had been over a week when we went. And there was some other crazy thing that we went to. Did we go to the Marlboro Muster in Connecticut a week late?
A week late, yeah.
Yeah, we showed up a week late for that. There was no one there when we got there. So you can see that we're pretty structured.
Yeah, pretty structured. We played at a muster, it was about 5 years ago, and we were all set. We had this muster routine. We worked it out the morning of the muster, and when you have a muster, you have a parade, and then all the fife and drum corps march through the field, and then each corps goes on a field one at a time, and every corps performs and plays music. So we had worked out this really great routine early in the morning. We don't want to be too far ahead of ourselves. And went out on the field, and how many false starts did we have?
Oh, geez.
3?
At least.
3 starts. Nobody could remember the song. Drummers kept rolling off without even asking us. So we're sitting, how's it go? How's it go? All these people around and everything. That was pretty bad. That was pretty embarrassing.
That's entertainment, I guess.
We're able to pick it up, though.
Yeah, we finally got it going.
We keep going. I don't know. We seem to pick it up about out of nowhere, I guess. Put on some kind of
Somebody
show.
remembers it at the last second.
Probably a drummer.
I had a relative one time claimed that I wasn't organized, and sometimes I tend to agree with that person. I won't let you who it is. But.
Is this a expensive proposition for you? Where does your money come from to run the corps?
Oh, we don't play for nothing. Frankly, we get paid. We put a thing on it. That's how we get our uniforms. And that way, we don't have to go out begging. We play. If it's a long, hot march, we get enough to cover, make sure that we have...
So the sponsors of the events will...
Drums are quite an expense. They keep breaking and the ropes keep going, and they're quite an expense, the drums are.
Are these new drums? I mean, they look as though they're old drums, but are they...
Well, that there one, that drum is probably about 25 years old. Yeah. But we worked a couple of times. The fellow who made that has passed away. He doesn't no longer make drums, so I'm sure it'll be a collector's item at some point.
One of these days. Are you connected at all with the Exbridge Minutemen? How does that group interact
Well,
with
we're
yours?
kind of brother outfits, I guess you could say. I'm a member, I believe. Richard is, and Paul are members. I don't know if you ever joined or not.
No, I haven't.
The annual meeting, we'll get her into it. But they've been very cooperative and very supportive, and back us up. We've had a lot of good times with the Minutemen.
So they tend to support your group and
We try to backstop each other as much we can, because you can't get everybody to go to everything. And there's quite a number there's a lot of events going on. We just can't get out for them all.
So in a 40-hour week, how many hours does the Fife and Drum Corps take up? Sounds like you guys spend an awful lot of time at this.
It depends on what time of the year. We really don't do much during the winter,
No.
obviously, because most of our work is on summer weekends.
It kind of comes in spurts. We'll practice for a while. I don't know how these fellas do it, but I might practice for about 3 hours a week, casually picking it up. 15, 20 minutes at a time. And,
My practice generally comes in the summer at parades.
well,
Oh, the marching the morning of the parade.
yeah, that happens too.
What do you see as the future for the Fife and Drum Corps? long, healthy future in front of you, or?
Well, it's lasted quite a while, and as long as we get some kids coming along that are interested, we'll just keep going with it. I guess it's just one of those things. It just bumbles along, and and keeps operating. That's all I can, We've done a few interesting things like the record, and there's enough things to keep interest going. We've got another record in process.
So if someone wanted to join your group, how would they do it, Ben? Why don't you tell the camera just exactly how they'd go about...
Well, they can show up at the North Uxbridge Fire Station 7 o'clock on Tuesday nights, and hope we get there. And but if they want to call my home ahead of time, 278-2216, well, I'd be glad to talk to them, probably to the point of where they're bored to death. But we'd be glad to have anybody call that's inquiring, and I think any of the rest of these people here would be glad to give you a little pep talk and get your arm twisted behind your back so that you would help us out. But we're glad to see people come, and particularly younger people. We'd like to get youngsters involved in this.
Like
It started out as a youngsters thing, and then we'd like to keep it going that way.
Can we have maybe a couple more selections, and then we'll wrap it up? Maybe one of your favorites out of the from the album. Do you have your music?
Down in the Valley?
Down in the Valley sounds wonderful to me.
Well, I don't want to dominate this now. Do you want to play Down in the Valley?
The usual question now is, how does it go? All right. That's all I need.
Starts on A.
1, 2, 3, play.
Terrific. Really want to thank the Captain James Buxton Fife and Drum Corps for appearing on the first edition of Valley Views. And we hope we'll see you again on one of our future shows, and I know we'll see you in parade season.
Hopefully.
This program is your chance to speak out. Your view of the Valley is important to us and to others throughout the Blackstone Valley. So by all means, if you would like to appear in the show, if you have an idea for a show, drop us a card or a letter to myself, Ken Redding, P.O. Box 392, Uxbridge, 01569. And until the next time, I guess we'll see you on Valley Views. Good night.
2, 3, play.